Soviets and Soviets, how you all doing? This is Khan Ulrich.
And I'm Rangru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, we wanted to give you another duo on duo action for you group enthusiasts out there. Slugging it out on Orsha North, saying Dos Vidania to Selfa right now. Rang, who is fighting today and what are they fighting with?
Well, on left hand side in blue, we have Bob Sarducci. I'm just going to call him Bob,
All right.
as the 5th Panzer. And we have the Devil's Brigade, but he is controlling a division, and he is playing as 5th Panzer as well.
Hmm.
And on the right hand side in red, we have Srach as 26th Guard Strelocki, and Tars the 4th as 26th Guard Strelocki.
So one thing we were talking about before this cast really got started, and I'm actually super excited to see someone taking advantage of this was, well, you know what, Rang, tell me about it. Why am I so excited about this game?
Well, Srach, Bobs, and Devil are all using balanced income, which we've been seeing quite a lot recently. And Tars is going for the more sea phase heavy Juggernaut income, which gives you a whopping 230 points in sea phase.
So
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
exactly. So what we were talking though that the 26th is much more of a infantry division than a panzer division, excuse
Of
me,
course.
tank division. So how is that going to play? Like, what do you think he's looking to do?
I'd say this map is definitely a bit more favoured towards the 5th. Got a lot of open fields, Tiger tanks, Panthers are currently very good at the moment. And I think it's really going to be the Russians' best interest to try to play on the far flanks around the forest. And we've already seen a recon plane being brought out to start, a PE-2, and he's just going to be flying around, taking some lovely pictures of this Belarusian countryside.
That is rather adorable. Interesting to look down to the bottom. Wow, I can't talk today. Ogne Machiki. I don't know why. I don't feel like I've seen these guys too
Ovto?
often. The Ogne
Oh!
Machiki.
Yeah, that's just like, yeah, I think that's just more of a regular. Oh, that's the 2-man flamethrower squad. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's still pretty good. They're not, the 2-man, the double flamethrower squad. God damn, I can't speak today either, can't. But yeah, I mean, just like an SD-44, those 2-man flamethrower squads can be pretty powerful still.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm kind of looking forward to that. I kind of looking forward to seeing the flamethrowers get the kind of their day in the sun.
Yeah, they're gonna be hiding in the side at the moment as they just maneuver around this rather tight knit forest.
Now, the one thing I wish we could see a little more of is that this Belarusian, countryside, as you're calling it, we're not really seeing really a lot of movement from that plane. We can't see the little like unit cards anymore. I want to see the pictures of the planes. I want to see those
I
guys
know,
moving back
right?
and forth. It's adorable.
Yeah.
But the first couple of engagements have already happened, and Bob Sarducci and Devil's Brigade, they have picked up kind of a central kind of command point. You just see we have a Snapieri kind of group right over here, the only group that's really kind of holding them back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're going to be able to do a whole lot, but things are rather quiet on the Eastern Front.
Yeah, and neither side's really making any too much aggressive plays. I feel like for our German players, they're just going to try and do something along this northern middle area. Got a lot of Panzer IVs, which is quite interesting. As we've usually seen a lot of 5th Panzer players just pretty much only get heavy tanks. And the Panzer IVs are still pretty damn good.
No,
Much better than SC-44.
that's true. But then
Yeah.
again, considering what was going on at some points, it wasn't hard to say they were much more viable on the Eastern Front than the West.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, as you say that, one of them gets forced into crew panic, so,
Yeah, IS-1 is in a lovely position as I mean, the Panzer IV is good and all, but it can't penetrate thick Soviet steel, and it kills one of the P4s, and the other one is going to be pulling back.
Worth noting, we just did see an airplane strike out here from the Soviets. I cannot tell you who was actually doing it, though. But the Germans, wow, the Germans are knifing in on the south. Good
Oh,
lord, look at that.
wow.
With 3 different squads here? No, sorry. 2 squads of grenadiers on top of each other.
Yeah, it's funny, the Russian, infantry force moving through the forest completely missed the Germans, and now they got stuck behind enemy lines. So that's not ideal for them in the slightest.
Yeah, what's more is we're going to have one of those. I think it was back in Stalingrad. There was some guys with like Ivan's house or something.
Pavlov's.
Pavlov's house. Thank you. Well, you know what? They're thinking of ringing the bell, but I don't think they're going to be slobbering anytime soon. In fact, we have one guard squad facing off against the might of the Third Reich here.
2 DP-28s versus 4 MG-42s. Take your bets, people.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're falling back, and they're going to be waiting for the reinforcements coming from behind. And if these flamethrower guys can flank the Panzer Grenadiers, that'll be some fantastic kills.
Well, we have to make sure they don't get too close to the edge of the forest, because
Mm-hmm.
whether or not those tanks are not great against it, looking at no, actually no, they're not. They're not going to engage that at all. In fact, they're just going to give up the command point. That is not what you want to see.
No. You do have one of the guard squad down south getting some nice hits on this grill here. I think the grill... Oh no, he's going to bank off, so this
Too
will be
late.
an easy kill. Yeah,
Yeah.
AT rifle. And a tiger now moving around. Probably could do some good critical hits on the tiger. Probably won't kill it. But you can always, jam its turret.
No, they'll find a way to make it hurt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Have you ever played Red Orchestra 2?
Once a long time ago, literally once.
It's always a lot of fun being the anti-tank rifleman in that game and trying to aim for like the turret ring and reap points for like enemy tanks. I know, it's just always, every time I think of AT rifles in this game, I think Red Orchestra 2.
I imagine it's much easier after a fashion to be aiming for those turret rings and the like, but I can't help but feel like it's probably better just to use as almost an anti-infantry apparatus.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely like blow some guys clean, head clean off with a good old, I don't know the caliber of that thing, but yeah, 14.5mm shot. Speaking of lots of shots, Rod's bringing in loads of mortars down south, and they completely did work on the Panzer Grenadiers holding the control point.
True, but at the same time, we still do have several more German squads in the area, so as these flamethrower troops get closer and closer, very optimistically,
Mm-hmm.
there's still a good amount of death in that tree line.
Yeah. Yeah, but I definitely felt like Bob has definitely overextended himself a little bit in the southern side, and he really needs to get some reinforcements, some armor really to help out. And hey, we see the Yak 9s dropping in heat bomblets, and that's probably going to be a dead tiger. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yeah, these things are absolutely deadly, and now the Panda Grenadiers are completely surrounded.
And
So
another barrage.
yeah. I really do love this in SD2 so much. I keep saying it, how you're seeing more maneuver warfare, we're seeing more encirclements now, where we didn't see like this sort of play happen all too often. As Bob still has a very battle-hardened force behind enemy lines, but it's suffering being behind enemy line debuff to take more morale damage, so maybe it'd be good for him to try and pull back and save his troops.
That is true. I was taking a look at the north, actually. Mortars are getting themselves involved on the northern side. Oh, no, SU-76s, excuse me. SU-76 is pounding that northern kind of complex.
Mm-hmm.
And the Germans are taking some hefty damage here, but they are holding steady, for at least for the time being.
Yep, and you got a Yak 9 dropping in some bombs up north, and then the Russians definitely exploiting their air power so far. They're doing a very good job, and especially for 26 guards, they really want to have their air power, as you want to be using those cluster bomb Yaks to kill all those nasty Tiger tanks.
Yep, and I guess one thing that's kind of surprising to me is that those bomblets are as effective as they are in the first place.
Yeah, it's the little shaped charges. So it's like little bazooka heads being dropped on top of a tank.
Yeah, but I never really thought that the way to kind of take care of the Tiger tanks was to give them more heads. And you know what? The Soviets seem to be. Trust again. The Soviets are going to get some of their own medicine in a second. We are going to see that Bob's your uncle down here is bringing in 4 mortar half tracks practically on top of each other.
Oh
It's going
god.
to be awful when they get into the fight, but at the same time, it's going to be awful when the Soviets start bombing the bejesus out of them, which you can bet your sweet Bippy they will do.
It might be a good idea to spread out as mortar half tracks just a little bit. It's never usually a good idea to cluster your artillery so close together.
Probably not.
Yeah.
As a quick reminder, though, if you're thinking about why he's trying to get engaged to the front lines when he's so far from it, again, guys, this is SD2 where everything's made up and the ranges don't matter. As the mortars can now shoot 3 kilometers, so that's going to be beastly. Here.
Yep. And the snipers can hit 1 kilometer array of their Mosin the guns.
With an 80% accuracy rate.
80% accuracy. Yeah.
Absurd.
Yeah.
But regardless, the Soviets are sitting themselves on a 13-11, so they're pretty close getting back to the 50-50.
Yeah, it's been pretty tight so far. I mean, they've been losing by a steady +1, but it's only a 1 flag difference. That's not unrecoverable in the slightest.
No, not at all. I mean, it's definitely recoverable. Now, I guess I'm interested to see Well, it looks like the last of those Germans are getting picked up right about now. We have
It's,
one Panzer Grenadier left and one Aufklärer kind of way behind enemy lines.
yeah. I've got more Yak 9Bs coming into the middle. Gonna be dropping in some bombs somewhere, but the Germans do have some anti-air set up. A flak veiling on the back of a truck.
As is their way.
As is the ray. I mean, you can never go wrong with 420 mils.
But you know, more is always better.
It is. Imagine if they had 820 mils in one gun. It'd just be like a tower of flak. You
Yes.
could walk on it, literally.
Like a tower of power. You're absolutely right.
Tower. The power tower. That's what it was, giant German concrete towers that they built in Berlin were. Power towers with all the AA guns.
Interestingly enough, I was going to say, while I was in Vienna, there was a couple of those towers. There's 5 towers left in the actual city.
Oh, wow.
They turned one of them into an aquarium/terrarium.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's really cool, actually.
yeah, it's pretty sweet. The House of the Sea, they call it.
And if you guys are wondering how we're talking about the giant German concrete flag towers that they built during kind of more later stages of the war. Just put all the AA guns on. You've played Medal of Honor, Airborne or so. It's a big bloody German tower.
Yeah, trust me, you've seen them
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah, they're really good bad guy fortresses.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, they are perfect at that.
It's like modern day castles, but with guns.
That is certainly true.
Those mortars down south are doing a rather hefty work on the German line, or the Russian lines, I should say. And even got a command unit right next to them, so giving them a lovely point advantage. And Schwartz has already identified the artillery battery, so he's probably going to respond in kind rather soon.
Yep, the only question is whether or not that Panzer Grenadier force or the Aufklärer Panther D, and again, that's a Recon Panther already, so we're just barely into Phase B with Recon Panthers.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising. I've barely seen the Recon Panther in my time of playing, as you have so little Recon units to begin with 5th Panzer. A lot of people just prefer taking the more versatile Recon infantry.
Yeah, but I guess I kind of prefer that, though, to have the Recon Panther. If nothing else, you can have it, well, attract an awful lot of firepower. Would you go after more of an Aufklärer Panther, or would you go after any kind of standard Panther? I would go after the Recon one, definitely.
Fair enough.
Blind the enemy.
More of a unique unit. Speaking of unique units, up north we are seeing the flamethrower T-34s get interaction after using their flamethrower, which is quite surprising considering never really seen flamethrower vehicles actually be so useful, because they have shorter ranges now, which is kind of a shame, I think.
Oh, bite your tongue. Don't tell me the Wasps were useless.
No, they're good in SD-44, it's just now, because the flamethrowers only have
50-meter range.
yeah, like 160 meter range,
Yes.
and the maps are bigger, and it's just
Same.
yeah. But it's it's still T-34, so it's got that going for you still.
True, but armor gets cracked almost immediately. Good lord, one goes down.
Yeah.
Another one bailed out. How'd the armor get cracked? What was it from? It wasn't the Panther. The P4. P4 is aiming at the northern one. That one's down as well. I don't know.
No idea.
What I can say is that the German artillery park is taking fire. We actually have 2 Hummels coming on in. So we got some backup singers. And, yeah. The Befehler half-track is over here just kind of chilling. Don't know if I'd really want to keep them that close, knowing that there's a lot of extra firepower that could be coming their way.
Yeah, I mean, you really should have spread out that mortar artillery park much further. It's way too clumped together. The Hummels are going to be good for the counter battering, so he does have that going for him. But yeah.
But apparently Schwartz says, you know what? If you have 4, I'm going to bring in more. He's got 4 Su-76s in the back. Oh, Furball to the north, by the way.
Oh.
Wing damage is actually, I say Furball, it's kind of a misnomer here. There's one poor Focke-Wulf that's going to get swarmed.
Oh,
like
yeah.
crazy.
He's not having a good time.
You poor bastard.
Got the AA Maxims doing their thing. But damn, he's still alive. He is an absolute fighter.
Well, he's now a Dyer.
Yep.
And the Russian judge is not impressed.
Nope. 7. Oh, that's going to be a real devastating cluster bomb.
Yeah, 2 down and 2
Almost
more to
3.
go. Jeez.
Yeah.
You know, there was somebody who's saying to me they couldn't believe that air power gets used quite as much as it does in ST2.
Mm-hmm.
You can see why, though, especially from the Soviet side. The Soviet side's absolutely devastating.
Yeah, those cluster bombers are very bloody powerful. It's quite funny because on one hand, when I first first started playing ST2, it's like, I usually use airplanes. They get shot down much faster. AA is much more deadly, but you just have to, as Rasheen, you're getting airplanes in pairs. You don't bring them out by themselves. That's usually pretty silly. And as you see, when they work together, they do a really goddamn good job.
That, I imagine, is a very savvy way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
I do say that we're also going to be seeing... Oof, okay, well, Sapertsi are going to get aggressed on. It is 13-11 in favor of the Soviets, and we have this half-track infantry push.
Mm-hmm.
But interestingly, it is not the Saperi that are actually engaging just yet. That will change very quickly. Ready to Faust? Yep, Faust up. There goes 1, and this German Kampfgruppe coming on in still should be enough to reduce this and potentially take back this command point.
Yeah, he definitely has enough infantry to fight his back. He really does need, like, I'm saying, like a Panther to move up and help out, but of course he's not going to move anything along that northern road along the southern side, as it's pretty much completely unsecure. But a Panther Grenadier should be enough to get its initial command point. Oh no, it's an IS-1, yeah, never mind. Yeah, they're not going to get very far. Not in the slightest. Yeah, IS-1 is, yeah. Soviets continue. Yeah, both sides got a lot of bloody mortars.
Yes,
to and from.
They do, but at the same time, that's kind of what makes it so great.
I know, there's a lot. I mean, both sides are definitely cranking out the artillery, especially the Soviets, which makes sense because they are the more of the infantry-focused division, so to speak. And still, Bob, you need to spread out your mortars, mate.
It is a little more difficult, I would say, to pinpoint. I would say immediately, at least, the artillery parks. It takes a little bit longer because it's a lot harder, in my mind, at least, to see the artillery coming on out.
Yeah, you have to scan more of the map because the maps are bigger as well. You have to have a bit of a keener eye, so to speak.
Well, the Hummels are trying to find the Su-76s, and that's not going to happen.
Oh, we got the Russian recon plane now. It's going to fly over and spot everything. There's a real good use of recon planes now. I mean, you could do an ST-44, but it's definitely much more useful. Yeah, the recon plane gives you a more useful corrected shot.
That certainly seems pretty accurate.
Same with the artillery dropping down.
I'm a little concerned, I would say, from the German side of things, about their Hummels. I feel like the Hummels are going to get pounded into pace pretty damn quick.
Yeah, I think they're a little bit outgunned compared to the Su-76s. Just a little bit. That's a lot of Su-76s. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them. So yeah, he does need to get some ammunition for him.
You know what? The Patriotic Fervor will win the day.
When I run out of ammo, they'll be used as tank destroyers, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Yak-9B coming to the north. Actually, I haven't really focused a whole lot on between Devil's Brigade over here and Tarsh the 4th. They have been duking it back and forth, but for the most part, really the big action has been down to the south.
And down south, we are seeing more cluster bombs being dropped in once again. And a concentrated German clump. And there goes...
the Gepards desperately.
Yeah. And they knocked out the Recon Panther and the Tiger in one fell swoop.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, I know it's cluster bombers, because it's quite interesting, like seeing discussing about the cluster bombers. Because on one hand, you got people saying they're completely utterly broken because you pretty much kill German tanks with it, or other people saying that, well, yes they do, but the Soviet tanks in 26 aren't that great to begin with, so they're really your effective way of dealing with it. I'm still kind of conflicted on the whole matter, but I know you probably are too. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
That's probably to a certain degree. I'm looking at the cluster bombs, and I want to like them. I really do. And I
Hmm.
think it's one of those things that if you're using them, they're absolutely bloody fantastic.
Yeah.
And if you're facing them, you're absolutely bloody miserable. And I think both positions are fair positions. What I would say is that I would like to see the spread, or at least the suppression that they give, be minimized a little bit.
I can
And
agree with that.
in my mind, if I can go and blanket a 300 or 400 meter long piece of ground and stress everything out in there, which is happening, then I think that's a little bit too powerful. That's an entire artillery barrage that you get every 90 seconds, maybe.
I think the reload time's a bit longer.
Okay, so we'll call it 2.5 minutes. That's still an intense amount, especially considering how many you can call in as a 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is not this game, but we've been seeing other games where we've seen entire wings
Yeah.
of them coming on in, and it's like it's absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
You can't say that doesn't need to be at least a little bit mitigated.
I do agree. Counterpoint now, as we're
Sure, of course.
continuing this discussion. If you are playing against a 26 guard plane, you're seeing, you know they're going to bring cluster bombs. Spread out your bloody tanks so they can only kill one tank per strike, essentially. Don't clump everything together, because you're just going to get things killed. And also, you just get a flak ADH out ASAP. You need to, set out an AA defense like it's goddamn Berlin in 1945.
Counterpoint to the counterpoint. Consider this,
Yep.
though. I mean, if you're able to force the enemy to disperse all of his forces all over in one spot, isn't that a little bit too powerful? Because at that point, you can get the whole to kind of. If what's saying is maneuver warfare is all about being able to actually concentrate your forces. And if you say that there is one unit that allows the entire thing to get broken to the point, just one point, that you can go and break the enemy lines by one bombing run, that seems a little bit too much.
Not like spread out across the entire map, but just like make sure it's like a 200-meter gap or so, 400-meter gap just between your tanks. You're also seeing another cluster strike up north, but there is quite a bit of AA on the field, and I think he is going to suffer some casualties as he
Up
has
north or
learned.
down south?
Down south. Sorry, I got
was
my
like,
north and south wrong.
Just think, the
Oh.
South lost the Civil War. And by the Civil War, of course, I mean,
Yeah.
we call it the Revolutionary War, but
But he did lose one of the cluster planes to anti-air, and I think the Germans really should also maybe get some more fighters, as this Soviet air has been absolutely devastating.
yeah, but again, think about it. They're outnumbered, just like dozens, almost, it feels like dozens to one.
The Germans kind of have the better air game, I say, in general.
Really?
Yeah, because they have the better AA. The Russians, for the most part, especially 26, is a terrible anti-aircraft net. You're really just using those Maxim trucks and maybe a few M15s. While with the Germans, you have your home lines, which are filled, 20 mils, 37 mils, flak 88 all over. And as you see up north, this furball's going to go into the German favour, and those Junkers are going to get out just because of the mass amount of AA. And there goes the other tank. Oh, not tank, aeroplane.
Okay, but this, I think, almost to a certain extent explains my point perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
The Germans go and bomb at one position.
Yep.
One. And they've used now 3 different guys to do that. The Russians can call in a wing and suppress, what, a 500-meter area? It's like a 500-meter diameter pretty easily. Now, I've been doing some math here, so bear with me on this. But pi r squared means that basically you're going and you're allowing them to get rid of like a couple thousand square meters every couple of minutes. I think the Germans don't get the same kind of punch. You say about bringing in 88s are counter batteries.
Fair, yeah, it's fair. Especially, yeah, you can counter battery more of the static air. I feel maybe fighters would be a better counter.
But then at that point, you have to be a little more generous with allowing fighters to get purchased. I think that, and I might be wrong. You got this a little more than I have. But the German divisions don't get a lot of fighters per card, do they?
It's not too bad. For 5th Panzer, it's not the best in the world, but you can get. All you need is like 1 or 2 Fokker Wolves with some anti-aircraft cover to shoot down those pesky yaks.
I suppose it's fair.
Yeah, I know it's definitely something that is interesting, like the whole discussion, because I feel like once like the more later German tank divisions are brought out, like the one with Panzers and Panzer IVs, that strategy won't be as useful because you're not getting as much bang for your buck killing a Tiger compared to just killing like a Hungarian Toady tank. Toddly, however you call it.
True.
But I know it's really interesting. I like to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments below. What you think of the Soviet cluster bombs? And we're seeing them again. And look, he's Tigers. Oh no, he's going. Okay, he's going for the Tigers, but one behind. And he only kills one in that run. But will he take any casualties? 1, 2, and he's going to get the third plane and knocks out a rather huge chunk of the Soviet Air Force.
I think you're ahead of me somehow.
Am I?
I think
I'm
so.
at 24:30, 31.
Yes, you are somehow 10 seconds ahead of me. I
Oh,
have no
God.
idea how the heck that happened. All right, so we resolved this a little bit. Let's be a second or two off, but no more of Rank being able to read the mystical tea leaves of the world and kind of figuring everything out too quickly here.
I had to put away my crystal ball.
You know what? I think it's bad enough. We already know how the history eventually turns out here. Can we just at least give him a bit of more of a chance?
We don't want to spoil it for the viewers at home. You don't know the ending to World War II.
Exactly. And you know what? Actually, no, I can't admit that comment right now. But in any case, we do have another OT-34 to the north. Katyushas.
I know.
And Katyushas are just barraging an empty ground.
No, it killed like 5 German anti-aircraft units.
Okay,
all
that's a
those flag
smoldering
feathers.
wrecks.
Which, once again, spread out your forces, guys. Especially your anti-air. Yeah, you don't deserve
Down to the
lose that.
south as well.
Oh God.
But not a whole lot there to hit.
No.
Actually, wait a second. With it? No, just I was like, are those any more mortar trucks down there? I've been very surprised that they moved forward that far.
Mm-hmm.
Well, taking a quick look back in terms of the overall point situation, it is 13-11 in favor of the 26. Was the Tankovy, Guard, Strakovi, all that kind of stuff
26.
like that.
Let's call them like the Strelocki division.
I'll take the Strelocki division. We'll call that. Why not? Also, you see, actually, a plane don't get to see very often. ME-410 B2U2.
Oh yeah.
Which sounds like a really bad, Star Wars droid or something. But Brian, can you tell us anything about that? Honestly, I can't say I've seen too much of it myself.
I don't. It's a German twin engine fighter strafing plane. I think it's mainly for like ground attacks. No, I think it's this. Yeah, it's a ground attack strafing plane. That's what the icon is anyway. It does. It has guns. It flies. It shoots things. That's my historical knowledge.
He attack. But most of all, he takes Constantinople back.
Yeah, it's a little bit too late for that now, Khan.
That's true. It's no one's business but the Turks, I suppose. And another battery is being brought in by Schwartz. He's bringing in 6 76mm artillery pieces in the back.
Mm-hmm. That is.
This is just an absurd amount of artillery.
Yeah, there's a lot of artillery, and he's going through ammunition pretty fast as we tell, and he's got even more artillery coming in. Just so much artillery. Oh, we haven't seen any. Oh, we are seeing one of the giant 203s up north.
Oh, the P4s? Yeah.
Yeah, we've got one B4, yeah. And then the Katyushas. Oh, we've got Andrusas out. So, he's on Katyushas, these are Andrusas, so extra deadly. And we've got the Stukas up north doing some good hits and the rest on infantry. But yeah, it's still pretty even. I mean, it's only been like 13-11 this entire time. And the Germans are slowly losing at the moment, but they could still push us back.
They certainly could, but it would require kind of a Herculean effort. Because we are getting into that C phase, which means that this is where Tarsh kind of begins to pound home his advantage. He gets a huge amount of points coming in now soon.
Yeah. He got a giant 230 point tick in his C phase at the moment. But at the same time, 5th Panzer, if you build a decks right, you can fight attritional warfare really well with 5th Panzers. You can get a lot of Tigers and Panthers and lots of heavy tanks. And right now, the Soviets don't really have that much in terms of anti-armor on the field. They've got the 1IS-1 down south, but he's about to run into 3 different Panthers. And that is not a pleasant experience up close.
No, sir. But at the same time, before now, back when you were still having the benefit of your prognostications, was that the end of the Yak carpet bombing?
Yeah, all 3 of them got shot down.
Interesting.
He might still have more, but He probably still has more.
Nope, never
Nope,
mind. No,
there's
we have
more.
3 to 3. 4 to the north.
No, but will he shoot them down again? I have a feeling he might. Yes, he's got the Focke-Wulf being brought in. They're gonna do damage. He's only going for the gap archer. It's not too bad.
Yeah, but he's taking out what he's following the old maxim. Kill first what hurts most.
Mm-hmm.
And he loses one, but this Focke-Wulf's not gonna be able to take out all 4.
There we go. Oh no, he might be able to. Oh, not all 4, but at least like another one or two.
Kind of an interesting decision to try to dogfight the Focke-Wulf with a bomber.
Yeah. I mean, they're not too bad, but still, especially over enemy lines, you just kind of want to get out of dodge more than anything.
Yep, you do. And down south, now with the Focke-Wulf being pulled up to the north, down south they're going to pound this entire little pocket, and this is going to fold quicker than any kind of souffle I've ever made in my life. But the Germans have taken back enough points to cause a bleed on the Soviet side. And we're back to even Stephens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pretty neck and neck so far. Up north we're seeing a huge smoke artillery barrage trying to block out Tiger's line of sight on the hill. Which, does it even block line of sight?
Yeah, well, it's blocked a lot of the northern stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of fascinated. Where are the rest of these? Oh no, they're falling back?
What's falling back?
Fascinating. The massive artillery park to the south. The Studebakers are okay. Yeah, they're finally starting to get less stressed out.
Yeah, it's a lot of artillery. Yeah, it's a lot of bloody artillery.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, frankly, you're taking a look at as this engagement happens. It feels almost very World War I-esque, just batteries upon batteries.
Mm-hmm. This can be a difficult map to push on, as the middle is essentially like a giant no man's land that both sides are pretty scared of pushing. And as you're seeing, most of the action really comes down to the more defensible flanks, so to speak.
True. I guess I am a little surprised there has not been. If you go to the southern side, get that little town that's kind of hanging on out. I'm surprised there has not been more of a push moving either southeast or northwest along that arterial. That does seem like definitely a potential opportunity.
Yeah.
Certainly one that's been missed. Maybe that's just me. Outside of that, though, the Germans, again, like I said, they do have themselves a little bit of an increase here. 13-11. They've just taken another one, but they've lost one in the south.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like wherever the Germans are able to mass, they are taking a tiny, tiny bit of an advantage.
Yeah, and they're really close to taking another flag point in the southern town. Just with their pioneer squad. They're so close to getting one more flag. I really think for the Germans, their best bet is just to try to push through the middle, use that armor advantage. We've really seen the Soviets don't have much in terms of anti-tank. It's really not much. Like a 45 mil here and there. I've barely seen any KV-1s actually. Now I think about it. Or T-34s in that matter. Only the flamethrower runs.
But the ISs have done more than their fair share, I would argue. And
yeah.
Here comes another carpet bomb.
But it's only been where we got the KV-85s being brought in up north now. But it's only been like one IS-1 per side. As you can only get one IS-1. But they held pretty well. They did really strong, but they're no longer alive. They're all dead. All 2 of them. They're not IS-1s, they was-1s.
Instead of 1s, they're -1s.
Yeah.
No, you're right. There's that M10, the 410 rather. Now, interestingly, I feel like it got forced back in part by that recon plane. I might be wrong on that one, but down to the south, we did see that there was a Tiger holding open this pocket, and that has now been poached.
Mm-hmm.
And while they've taken the spot back, they're not going to aggress in that town. The one you're talking about, they're not going to aggress there. And frankly, if they take the current material that they have now, they're not going to move. Like, why would they bother? Soviets have to come to them. Like you said, I mean, this is being an infantry division facing off against 2 essentially tank divisions. Not... I just hear the shriek of Andreyusha.
Oh yeah, it's... I really think it's a mistake for the Germans pushing down south constantly, as they keep running into this choke point and the Soviets can just exploit it with their mass artillery.
No, can we just talk about the fact he just pounded the incoming troops? He killed, literally, I think 5 or 6 squads just now.
Yeah, he killed a Hummer or two as well, so that was... Damn, that's deadly. Absolutely deadly. He has a
Ladies
lot
and
of
gentlemen,
ammunition.
yeah, and actually might even take out the command vehicle if he gets lucky.
Oh. Nope, he's staying alive.
Yeah, unfortunately, not many of his comrades did.
Nope. We're seeing clusters coming into the middle. Gonna hit that concentrated Panzer IV blob. And
And
kills
see,
all three.
again, that is just... I know you say spread out your units. It just seems a little bit excessive.
Yeah, I'm still conflicted.
Random chance shouldn't be that good.
It's not really. It's pretty consistent that those things kill, especially medium tanks. It's like Tigers and Panthers usually have some chance to live, but yeah, I don't know. It's very sudden. It's very sudden. Like it's also if you think about like SD-44s, aerial anti-tank weaponry, the Typhoon AT wasn't very reliable as an aerial anti-tank weapon. You usually have to get a side shot, but it always got a guaranteed stress out if you shot all the rockets. And then you had like the Junkers, the HS-129s and whatnot, which were effective aerial anti-tank, but they could only really kill one unit at a time. They're still a bit
the
luck
accuracy was
dependent.
pretty crap for some reason.
Yeah, with the B runs and the Stukas against more heavier tanks, you want to get side shots on them. The B3s are pretty bloody inaccurate. I don't know, it's different. It's very weird because like now the point I'm trying to get to is the aviation anti-tank, especially those cluster bombs, are so goddamn deadly. Like really, it's just like dead, like that. Which is just completely new, different playstyle compared to how ST's-44's aerial.
Sorry to interrupt. One thing I do like, we have a carpet bombing down to the south, and so as much as I hate this, I do like the fact that Schwartz he's using his aircraft appropriately. While he has lost now 2 more planes, very, very valuable planes, he will unmask the anti-air with his recon plane.
Yeah.
The focus on that, and he brings the carpet bombs in right behind. So guys, take notes on that. If you want to go and guarantee your aircraft to get through, at least the first time, send in a less worthwhile plane. I know it sounds ridiculous.
I know.
But send in a less worthwhile plane and draw fire. North side, by the way, we're going to see more freaking carpet bombs, as if there weren't enough of this malarkey already. But now the Gepard formation is going to get bombed again. Nope, never mind. It's going to be Tiger this time.
He gets Tiger and Panther, but he does manage to kill both of the planes. To be fair as well, those planes are usually more expensive than a Tiger. So if you do manage to shoot one down and it kills a Tiger, you were more point efficient in an array. If it kills more than like 1 or 2 tanks, then yeah, it's more point efficient. Where if
Can you look me in the eye and tell me that they've not killed their fair, their weight in planes?
Some of them have, but some of them just came in and got killed. Like only managed to did that 1 bomb load, and then the Focke-Wulfs come in and fuck him up.
We're going to see 5 Junkers coming on in the other direction. One's probably not going to get his bombing run through. Nope, but I think he just bought it.
Nope.
Like freaking out at least. Okay. But the other one, I mean, they're going to go and hit some of his infantry, and that's nice and all that. But I can't help but feel we have a more precise usage here of ordnance. So well.
It's going to hold them back just for a little bit. But the Germans are still winning, and they got 15 to 9 flags. I'm trying to wonder where they're getting all these bloody flags from. It seems like in the middle, we're just managing to... Oh, it's up north in the town a little bit. They managed to... Oh, I don't think we're going to capture much flags there, actually. I actually have no bloody idea that the Germans captured the flags.
Well, they picked up one of their own back in the south. That Town 1 has now finally come under their control.
Oh,
the northeast
that's a big
has come
one.
under their control from there.
That's a big run. And we got the IL-2s down south with the anti-tank cannons. They're not going to be able to fly through, and they are all going to die. They are all dead.
Not for nothing, but you see Pilot unconscious. I'd be very surprised those guys can actually fly straight. I would think that's like a guarantee we're gonna crash.
The plane just goes into autopilot again. It's just a blow up dummy of the pilot. Inflates and flies the pilot back home.
Is his name Otto?
Yeah, his name is Otto.
I,
Yeah,
was
and you have
wondering if you're- I really was wondering if you're going to go that direction. Rang, this is why we do casts.
Yeah, yeah.
The town in the north has finally completely come under the German control, so it's very comfortable under their safety now. 15-9, so theoretically this could be over just as soon as 6 minutes go by. But looking at that massive wave of Komroti and, well, 4, 5, 6 new squads of infantry, it looks like Tarsh is not willing to give up the ghost just yet.
Yeah, and both sides, or I should say both Soviet players, are starting to bring out many more tanks. Tarsh bringing out more KV-85s up north, we got KV-85s down south. I think a southern push could probably work, as the Russian artillery is just pinning down all those German troops easy peasy. He just needs to bring up the KV-85s to finish up the job.
That's true. I mean, the Gepards themselves are pretty much dead already. They're going to get pounded for constantly. And that guy just bought it with a magic mortar. Wow, yeah, 1 by 1. Wow. The artillery in this match has been absolutely devastating.
It's been a lot of it.
Yes, sir. But the Soviets, despite getting rid of one of those ticks of death, they still are facing defeat in the next few minutes here. Even more so, as all they have right now, they have one squad of LPO troops behind enemy lines down in the south. And don't get me wrong, these guys are absolutely great.
I think he could probably, if his guards just hold for a little bit, he could probably get right behind him and just sandwich this German platoon, or well, what's left of a platoon.
They've been caught out. Yeah. But the guards are pinned down, so while they will get their fair shake. Oh my gosh, they're gonna kill everything?
Yeah.
Is the Rang right?
Hell yeah.
If I didn't know any better, I was gonna say you're going ahead of me again.
No, I just know that two flamethrowers win everything. Like, if you bring 2 flamethrowers to any fight, I can fairly certain you could win that fight. Knife fights, gun fights, bazooka fights, anti-tank rifle fights. If you have 2 flamethrowers, you automatically win.
How about dogfights?
Dogfights? Well, if the plane's flying low enough, then yes.
Devil's breath. Got it. We are going to see a new couple of guard squads moving on in, and while these PTRDs are quite effective, I cannot help but feel that they will be stressed out just a smidge here? No, maybe not.
Down south?
Yeah.
Well, I think they're going to get the armor support very soon, as we're seeing pretty much a platoon of T-34s being brought up. That's a lot of T-34s, and I do feel like the Russians will be able to take the southern side. They're just so close to getting that ground. They just need their armor to come up and support the infantry, really, as the infantry are currently unsupported.
Which, as we all know, support is half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And in any particular case, we are going to see, but the Germans are bringing in some of their own infantry as well, so we get more pioneers coming in. Those little rinky-dink KFZ-70s, which are barely any better than Jeeps. But that's besides the point. Pioneers being brought in, those pioneers will be more than enough, I think, to keep the Russians at bay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be fun. The T-34s, these are the early models, though, so these are 190, 190, this is nothing. These are the really early model T-34s.
Yeah, same time, most is more of a closer range engagement fight, so you might as well bring in the cheaper, crappier tanks in a close range fight. We do have one Panther G going down the southern road, and you probably were able to pick off a T-34 or 2. So, oh no, and crew panicked. I don't know what the hell did yet. I think, oh no, it's the artillery guns shooting at the anti-tank. The anti-tank shots from the artillery guns.
Wow.
Killed the Panther. Kaboom.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is absurd.
That's Soviet artillery for you.
Well, in the weight of numbers now, that this is going to be enough to see the Germans pushed. Can we talk about the pain train in the north? We have 6
Whoa.
Ju-87s.
Choo
Now,
choo.
annoyingly enough, they're hitting all the same spots. So, pilot unconscious, there we go. That guy's going off into the middle of Never Never Land.
Yeah.
Um, and while he is essentially supposed to be saving the German position, they're freaking their guys out pretty hardcore by dropping 500-pound bombs on them.
And the Soviets going to be responding by getting a fighter, shoots down one Stuka, two Stuka. No.
No!
No.
Wow.
God, the air fights are so brutal in this game. This is so sudden.
Yes, it is.
Like SD-44, you could shoot like a Messerschmitt for like 30 seconds with a Spitfire and it won't bloody die.
Interesting. I'm trying to pick up and just look at this one freaking plane to the north. Will not let me engage that at all. Anyway. Minor bug, perhaps. I don't know. But what else do we have? It's back to a 12-12.
Yeah, this is getting pretty damn close. The Germans are so bloody close to winning, but it seems like the Soviets just have the later game advantage with how the decks are set up. They got all these tanks that they had in reserve that they didn't use for the entirety of the match, now being brought out to the front lines, and they're pushing pretty hard down south. They're taking the town in the southern middle area with a bunch of guards. I feel like the Soviets will be able to push this back in the south and take the game, it feels.
That is entirely possible.
Yeah. I mean, the Germans do have some nice tanks in the middle, but they're not really doing anything with these tanks.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. But we are going to see a absolute metric buttload of Pack 40s being brought on in.
Where did he have all these Pack 40s and why?
And why did you not bring him out until now? Yeah.
Yeah, he's setting up like a hasty defense on the southern side on this hill.
The buddy system.
Yeah. Pack 40 here, Pack 40 here, Pack 40 here as well, you know, just Pack 40s everywhere.
Yeah, he's doing an Oprah business. You get a Pack 40, you get a Pack 40, we all get Pack 40s!
Woo!
And looks like this last Yak 9B might finally buy it. Yep, and there we go. But still, those guys have almost by themselves. They've changed the nature of fighting in this entire map.
Yeah, they've pretty much stopped the majority of German tank pushes this match so far. I'm really looking forward to see that KD list. Oh, interested. Looking forward.
Maybe you are. I'm going to probably weep a little bit myself. I mean, just how many freaking beautiful pieces of machinery got blown apart by artillery and airplanes. Though, to be fair, I will grant credit where credit is due. That was the prevailing thought, at least, during World War II, was it was not just tank v tank, it was also tank v aircraft, tank v everything else. So it's always kind of nice to see.
I'm just zoomed in on like the southern side where like all the infantry is, and there's so many dead dog. If I can say my words, dead goddamn tanks here. Like I'm seeing like Panthers all being knocked out right next to each other, next to Panzer IVs and more Panzer IVs. It's a absolute tank graveyard down south.
It is well that war is so terrible. Else we should go too fond of it. Yeah, that's actually
really quite beautiful.
Oh, you! Wow, you harsh man.
No, I mean like this, like the game. This looks.
Oh, I was gonna say they died for your amusement.
They died so we can cast about it.
Yeah, true. I suppose that's true. Yeah, I take that back. Now the Junkers did come in. For the most part, they kind of made it out. They kind of didn't make it out. But I think the southern side has completely fallen. I don't think Bob Sarducci has anything left. I think Bob's your uncle, and I think he might Ducci out pretty soon.
Yeah, and this is a lovely area for the Russians to take hold of. It's easy to defend as you're on top of a hill with a bunch of forest to cover. Put some AT guns there, you shut down an entire road, and you're pretty much good. You're pretty much good.
That's entirely possible.
There's all, well, pretty much resorted to getting a bunch of Pack 40s. I have a feeling he's pretty much out of tanks now. And it's...
Well, when he's bringing in just machine guns and Beobachters, yeah, he's pretty much done. And doomed.
Yeah, and more Pack 40s. I always Pack 40s is laying around. Yeah, and you know what's gonna happen to these Pack 40s? They're gonna shoot once or twice. Soviet artillery is gonna go. Is that static? Is it static guns I smell? And they're gonna counter battery him to hell and back.
Which is happening already. They're aiming for that defensive point right there, and
Yep. Yep.
Oh, you poor devils, you. And just think about it. All it really took was 2 squads of guards unmasking that.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yeah. Still is a good idea, I think, to turn off the HE ammo for AT guns in general.
Unless that's legitimately all you have left.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're being attacked by infantry, yeah.
Yeah, but I guess for the most part, actually, I've not really checked. Their HE is only 1 damage. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's
not quite as OP as it used to be.
Yeah, not that great. I have a feeling it should be more. 1 seems a little bit too low for like the 75mm gun, but
I'd agree.
If you look at like a Panzer IV, the Panzer IV HE is also a run, so maybe it is meant to be the case.
Let's check the Allied bias, though. Let's see. Where's a T-34? Okay, T-34. Never mind.
It's run. It is run as well.
It's just 1?
Maybe the damage... Maybe it doesn't represent a HE properly, I think. I have no idea. You guys can tell us in the comments.
Well, I can tell you for the KV-85, the damage for his HE is 7.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's bugged for the other T-34 and Panzer IV. Because going from a run to 7 for a small caliber increase seems definitely a little bit silly.
Excessive? Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. I have a feeling it's probably a bug. Yeah.
Now, I'm not gonna say I'm enjoying this, but just to see this massive artillery park just shred these anti-tank guns.
Yeah, being shredded. Absolutely shredded, and Russians are pushing through rather hard and heavy. And yeah, it's just got a huge amount of ground down south, 15-9 flag advantage. Looking up north.
Looking up north, he's just getting just human wave attacks.
Mm-hmm. But Devereaux is making some progress. He's got a bunch of Tigers moving up. He still has those tanks left alive. So maybe he can move up and do stuff with him. He needs to do the stuff to win the match, you know. It's simple.
Exactly.
You do stuff, you buy a unit to do the stuff, and then you're in. It's so you play Steel Division.
Yeah, but you know what? This is going to be over. So the KV goes out.
Yep.
Carpet bomb. That's 1. That's 2. I rest my case. Yay. Germans holding a desperate line of defense down to the south. A couple MG-42s. But again, the second that goes out, it's just going to get pounded into dust.
Yeah.
We have a couple 170 off maps coming on in. Not too much there, but... Yep, and the Katyushas, the Andreyushas, whatever you want to call them, the Yushas are here. And I think we have 2 Yaks coming in to just kind of strafe, so that's going to be more than enough. But you got to doff your hat a little bit to these guys. These guys have given you their all on this one. Good God.
Yeah, this is definitely coming. I mean, it's a bloody 53-minute match so far. So it's really coming down to a war of attrition.
Oof, 1 Yuk are coming down. That's why you don't dogfight with the plane that was out of date 10 years ago.
So does the Yunker still have the really good turn radius?
It
has medium now. It doesn't have the super good turn radius anymore, it seems.
I was going to say, they are a little bit more ungainly.
Yeah. Because in SC-44, your MBOs, those goddamn Junkers could turn fight with everything. They couldn't kill anything, but they could dance. But now they're definitely a little bit, like you said, ungainly.
Yeah.
Like
the Y-wings of the German Air Force.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yay.
And the Ak-9's that one lone Junker, he's not going to make it out. No, he does. Just in the nick of time.
Oh, of ye little faith.
Mm-hmm.
Justifiably little faith, but oh, of ye little faith.
Yeah,
now, T-34s behind enemy lines, they're just taking out all of these, like this 170 off map. They took out another one already. We have one Pack 36 and another moving on in. Very plucky anti-tank defenses that should have been on map probably about 10 or 15 minutes ago, but here we are.
Yeah, Bob has all his anti-tank guns. Like, it's funny, he got all of his tanks out, and now he's bringing out all the anti-tank guns. He has them specifically in reserve. But they're not going to help out against his T-34s here.
No, they're not. Actually, I kind of wonder if this is the perfect way to actually use Juggernaut. In a 2v2 map, you have your ally that's kind of there to kind of go and draw fire for a bit. I mean, think about it. For the most part, Schwartz was kind of holding the line really all across the medium part of the map. And as long as, what's his name, Tarsh could hold the north, which really, like you said, this plays to the kind of defensively minded individual, he could limp along until phase C and then just start blowing everything out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just a thought.
But yeah, Schwartz has done like a fantastic push down south, and I really just think it just came down to he had the more attritionally minded deck compared
You mean
to Bob.
artillery?
And artillery wins you battles. I mean, if you just look down South Khan on that goddamn capture point on the hill, it is so many goddamn craters. You can barely recognize the buildings. A lot of dead tanks all around. That southern area is just a goddamn graveyard.
I say if you call it a war zone, I was gonna be like, I'm not sure you know what game we're playing.
It's no longer a war zone, and it's no longer a match as it ended.
Yeah, Schwartz 7,000 to 4,000.
Yeah, it is.
Parch 6.5 to 53. Yeah, that's
a lot of kills.
okay. Here we go. Look at the kills. First guy right there. That should not happen.
1, 2, 3,
8.
4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, okay, that's a lot. That's a lot of Panzers, Khan. That's a lot of Panzers. Jesus Christ.
The Andreyushas. One of them. Let's see. Kozu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Mm-hmm.
That was the guy who hit the convoy as it came in off the map.
Yep.
And Davidoff, I think, was the other one.
Yeah. And looking at one of the artillery guns. Oh god, one of the artillery guns knocked out 4 proper tanks, 3 Panthers and a Panzer IV. Jeez Louise. Yeah, god. This is definitely Schwartz's kill list, and he has not been
Idle.
That's the word I was trying to go for. This match, he's been bloody busy shooting down everything.
Well, Rang, that's my job. It's my job to, read your mind so that way you can finish my sandwiches.
What type of sandwiches do you have, Khan?
Bologna, just like me.
Okay, yeah. I'll take a bologna sandwich. I'll
full
have
of
it after
bologna.
the cast. Mm.
All right. I'll send it to the frozen north. Hopefully get there in time. Look at the losses side. We do see there's one Focke-Wulf who did a decent job. Took out 2 of those pestering Yak 9Bs, and then IL-2, as well as a Panther Fuhrer Phillips, who took out 3 T-34s and 1 guard squad. Other than that, though, not too much to write home about.
No. At the same time, we're only seeing half the picture of the losses, unfortunately, as we're not seeing what these units killed, because we're only seeing what units that they killed from Schwartz's side, and these units could have also killed some of Tars's units.
That is very true, but let's finish this by again reminding ourselves that one freaking yak, one cow, killed 8 tanks.
Yeah, that's a lot of pounds. Just once again, I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below about the Soviet cluster bombers. So I have no idea. Like, whether I just want to hear your thoughts. Is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. So, while we wrap this up, I do want to make another call at the same time. I had one guy in comment recently looking to get some breakthrough games casted. I don't know about you, Rang. I have not come across a lot of great breakthrough games, but at the same time, if you guys think you have an awesome one, or at least an interesting one you want to kind of see maybe can get cast, reach on out to us to see what we can do about that.
Yeah. One of the reasons we haven't really been casting breakthrough matches is there's currently a bug, especially with larger breakthrough matches, where you set everything up, you start the game, and then one person crashes. It happens pretty consistently, and it's kind of annoying. So I think that's right. A lot of people I've seen from when I've been playing the beta haven't been playing Breakthrough because of that. Hopefully they fix that, because it's really annoying spending 10 minutes setting up your perfect defensive trench line and then you crash out the game.
Unless, of course, you are the attackers and the defenders are Soviets, at which point it's perfect. It's exactly historical.
Yeah.
But all right, so folks, thank you so much as always. And I guess we'll see all you commies and not so commies pretty darn soon.
Mm-hmm. That's the only two type of people on the road, right?
Those who are red and those who are dead.
Yeah.
All right, folks. I'm Con Ulrich.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.